that belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers in the four corners of this earth, pushing this within truth, also in sincerity. And Brother Munatizak saying Shalom One. Here with another short video. This one will be more of I like to call it a word search, you know. You'll get it just like throughout the video. It's gonna be short, but this particular precept has been on my mind for a while now, you know. Just getting around to doing it. Nevertheless, we start in Sirach 7, and this is an impromptu video, by the way. Nothing prescribed, you know, nothing written down. Let's go rolling with the spirit, alright? Sirach 7, Sirach and Sirach Ecclesiastes 7, and the point is in verse 7, but I will start at verse 5. Alright? So Ecclesiastes 7 and 5. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. Rebuke, correction, right, of the wise, than to hear the song of the fools, or in other words, the praises of the fools. Right? For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. So this is also what vanity. When I look up the word vanity, I find the word what useless. This is also useless. And it don't profit you anything. You know, it don't aid towards salvation. Verse 7, where the point and the whole, you know what I mean, message of the video basically is, it says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. A gift destroy the heart. Right? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. That one line in this precept has been replaying in my head for a minute now. For a minute now. Alright? So I go to Google and Google get a Google definition for the word oppression. It says what? Prolonged, cruel or unjust treatment or exercise of authority. The state of being subject to oppressive treatment, mental pressure or distress. You understand? Now, prolonged, cruel or unjust treatment is basically what we've been going through since slavery, since the transatlantic slave trade, right? Since Deuteronomy 28, 15 on down, 15 to 68, you know. So we've been going through the Negroes, so-called Negroes, Latinos and Native Indians, right? But instead of, I believe it's Bob Marley sing a song where they say they take the shackles of your hand and foot but put it on your brain, or some reggae song, I forget. Right? It's a mental pressure or distress, and that is what we face today. You understand? It's less physical pressure per se. We still have the physical, you know what I mean, oppression to go because we had to go to work, we got so tired, we how sick we is. Them bills gotta be paid. Let me be real. You understand? The elders gave out years ago that hey, if you need to, you had to be working, you had to be generating some sort of income. Because you had to pay tithes, so you go pay tithes if you're not working. You know? If you have a household, you have to maintain your household life. That is even scriptural. You have to maintain your household life scriptural. It's a righteous thing for a man to maintain his household. Right? However, you know what I mean, the elites of this system, the kings of this kingdom, make it extremely tedious to do so. You know? At least a healthy household environment is what I want to say. They make it extremely hard to maintain that. Because being a man of the Lord, you know, your woman bugged out. Very rare you find a woman who understand, you know what I mean? And even if she does understand, she going to have moments where she lapses. You know what I mean? Wisdom wasn't imputed unto them. You know? But nevertheless, right? Mental pressure or distress. And when I need definitions for it. Now let me go to the blue letter. And this is why I like to call these videos word search. You know what I mean? We take our word We get the definitions of it. We pull out some precepts just to show that hey, there's the real definition of it, is what it really mean, right? So this is in blue letter Ecclesiastes 7 and 7, 862:23, oppression, right? It says oppression, extortion, injury, oppression, extortion, gain by extortion. Alright, Strong's definition. It's an injury, fraud, subjectively, distress, concretely, unjust gain, cruelly, extortion, oppression, thing deceitfully gotten. Alright. When it comes to the fraud, we know the scriptures, even the scriptures say, right? I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Alright. I believe that Revelation. What is that Revelation? Is that 13? We gonna find it. I know thy works and thy tribulation. Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are what? The synagogue of Satan. The blasphemy of them that say they are Jews. Right? Who are these people today? But who does call themselves Jews today? I.e. the 48ers, small hatters, gutter rats, however you want to label them. Right? These people are the world in the palm of their hands, doing as they wilt. You know? According to Alistair Crowley. You know what I mean? They doing whatever they want, and nobody could rebuke them, reproof them, nothing like that. Right? They say they are Jews and are not, but they are what? The synagogue of Satan. Yeah? Now, when we look up the Google definition for oppression, and say mental distress, more or less, right? That's one of the definition. A precept came to mind when I read that. I believe it's first or second Peter. Second Peter 2 and 8, it says, for the righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Right, just living in the system, watching how things going. That is our oppression. Because you know how things supposed to be. But yet you have to watch your brother and your sisters. You have to watch your sisters prostitute themselves, basically. And you have to watch your brothers kill themselves. Yeah, they 2/3. Don't get me wrong, they 2/3. Alright? They still be brothers and sisters at the end of the day. You know? In the grand scheme of things, sometimes you just how these people just don't get how they living wild. So even though you understand and you know it wasn't given unto them to know the secrets of the kingdom, right? It's only for the elect, and that just make you more grateful that you understand these scriptures, right? And this is part of the oppression. This is part of it. You understand? Mental distress. It's like it. Right? So as it says, for that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So every day will be vexed. All is part of the oppression that we under. And that is why the scriptures say what oppression make a wise man mad, because he could see it clearly. He had the eyes salved and no veil over the eyes. And no yampy in the eyes clean, he could see things for what they are. When people rejoicing over the technological advancement at this age, you know, we rejoice over the fact that hey, this get closer to being over. You understand? Regardless of how they label it or how they say it, we rejoice over the fact that, hey, all these so-called advancements is them being one step closer to being eradicated. And we know, understand, and applaud that fact as men of the Lord. Yeah? And I say this is a short video because it really have much I want to go into. Because I mean it not you know what I mean, not twofold or threefold, it's just this is oppression. This is oppression, basically. A real basic video. You understand? And as I say, I didn't have anything written down, just that one precept, Ecclesiastes 7:7 in my head. You understand? And I was one of the brothers that say, should not sin, not inside joke, you know? Because now we here. Now we are here. You know what I'm gonna do, Deuteronomy? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, people don't say slavery over. People don't like to believe that we're still in slavery. But mental distress, that is oppression. Not just physical, not because you're picking cotton sun up to sundown. Mean slavery done, right? Straight to verse 68. It says, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. When you look at buy you, we mean what? Nobody will save you. Right? You're sold unto what? We sold unto we enemies. For bondmen and bondwomen, meaning what? We belong to them. Yeah? They extort our time and skill for what? For what? For fake money. Think about it. That is extortion. We have to give them we time, we talent, we focus for however umpteen hours a day, whatever shift you work, you know what I mean? For fake money. That goes back into what maintaining their system. Because we had to keep the lights on, you got your car to have gas, your fridge had to have food, you know what I mean? If you have a family, hey, you know how you just know how serious it is. You know how serious it is if you have a family. If it's not just a man who, I don't want to say single man, but you don't have a family. You know, you're a loner. It's easier for you to maintain. It's still an oppression here, but not that level as if you have a woman, you have a child, or they are children with this young lady. You know, and that is just it, right? Nobody will save us until they come back, and that time is approaching rapidly. Yeah. So yeah, I hope this was insightful. I hope it was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakodash. Until next time, Shalom.